Hey, internets, we are here for some D&D. It's Monday night, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to hang out in Dagger Falls with 4 out of 6 of my most favorite Monday night D&D people. So welcome. I'm Wally Hobbit. My mom called me Scott. Um, Mike is lurking in the corner having some dinner, but we'll call upon him in a moment to introduce himself. But yeah, let's go around the horn real quick and let's meet our players. We'll start in the upper left corner as you're looking at the overlay with gears.
Hey, I'm Dave. Hey, Wilson on the internets. I'm playing Gears tonight. A level 3 Battle Master Fighter.
Level 3. How did that happen? I wasn't supposed to let you guys live that long. Now look at you. All right, Algernon, Al.
Hi, I'm Manny. At Growed Up Geeks on the social media. And tonight I'm playing Algernon Altano, a divination wizard on a study abroad program who is kind of going a little crazy without real supervision.
Right. Yeah, we need like a party mom or dad or something. Yeah, before this gets out of hand. All right, how about
Everybody just
Rue?
needs a teacher. Keep him in line.
Right. There you go.
Everyone, I'm Andrew. I'm Andrew, aka Fellowship of the Tables, and tonight I am playing Rue Shahar, the mysterious rogue with a background stuff.
Stuff. Random things. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing at all. And then we're going to pull Fragile lurking in the shadows. There they are.
Yeah, Hola. Yeah, I am Fragile Giancassi. I am the Raven Queen's favorite daughter, and she sent me about a mission, and I'm about to hopefully pull my friends along and unravel the mysteries that are going on in the Dalelands right now.
Yeah, mysteries in the Dalelands. How appropriate is that? We're in the Dalelands, and there are mysteries, and that's also the name of our game, our campaign. So weird how that almost on purpose.
How'd that happen?
Strange, just fortuitous. Yes, the gods be shining upon us. So, just a quick recap from last week. We played about a half day in game time. The 29th Flame Rule 29. Or 29 Flame Rule. And it was really kind of just getting caught up with various people in town following a harrowing adventure in which the group was successful in apprehending a thief and bringing him to justice back in Dagger Falls. They got to go back to meet Lord Cormeril, the Lord of Daggerdale, who, of course, Dagger Falls is the sort of the seat of government in Daggerdale, and Lord Cormeril met with the group. And they've decided to take him up on his multiple offers of chartering the adventuring party. Two charters are going to be issued. They're actually being scribed as we speak. Hey, Strider Heap, what's up, man? Good to see you. It's been a long time, my friend. Good to see you out there. Thanks for coming by. The two charters, one will be a public charter, a typical adventuring party charter. The second one, however, is going to be off the record, just between the group and Lord Cormeril, so that he might put them to good use, snooping about and gathering intelligence and helping to defend and alert the good people of Daggerdale, Dagger Falls in particular. And so they're about to really kind of become their own little faction that'll be working for Lord Cormeril and Daggerdale. So we open our scene again. It's 29 Flame Rule. It's the afternoon. The party has gotten some running around done. An interesting note, while they were in the constabulary, this halfling came blasting in and was going on and on about having his coin pouch lifted some point while he was working, or maybe in and out of the Dagger Reforged tavern and inn, and he was raising no end of a fluster about this, and so that was something that was kind of interesting to the group. Calavera was at the library doing some research, and I believe Algernon is remaining behind in the Lord's library, and the rest of the party was going to meet at the Dagger Reforged to see if they can learn a little bit about what's going on. What's the kerfuffle? Hey, Sorrow's Tale, thank you for that sub, man. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. So we will throw it to the party. I'm assuming you all are going to go ahead and meet out in front of the Dagger Reforged. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think the Gears and Fragile and Rue are all headed that way.
All right.
Were Al and Calavera meeting us there, or are they still doing research?
I I'll join in when like he's done. If I go now, it's like I just stepped into the library and walked out basically with everybody else.
Fair enough.
Calavera and Ronvin are both back at the Teshford Arms, resting. It seems their travels have left them a little rough around the edges and not feeling well, so they are going to be resting this episode back at the Teshford Arms where the party is all kind of staying.
Gotcha. All right. So we will head into the Dagger Forge.
Okay. So you make your way in the familiar, dark, but again, well-appointed inn and tavern. Fragile, you recall the story from Carrie Willow, the barman, the bar manager, that the inn was recently purchased probably about 2 years ago by a local young half-elven adventurer named Lorivar the Swift. Now, you haven't made Lorivar's acquaintance, but Carrie was very instrumental when he retired from the constabulary. He used to be the constable here in Dagger Falls, and he was very instrumental in doing all the finishing carpentry inside of the inn. So the bar top, the bar back, the trim, baseboards, the doors, all the casings around the doors and windows, and the various sconces and trappings on the walls, including the beautiful glass and walnut holding case for the dagger that sits above the back of the bar that's illuminated by some means. And you enter the Dagger Reforged. It's not long past the lunch hour, and there's a small group of folks in there, a couple, 3-4 tables, quietly conversing, hoisting a tankard or a flagon or a goblet. The usual suspects. The bar itself is maybe halfway inhabited, and sure enough, a familiar figure behind the bar, the early 50s, mid 50s year old human, balding, heavy set, but not out of shape heavy set. In fact, he's still quite fit and spry for a man of his years and his experience. Carrie Willow is behind the bar, tending to the needs of the patrons, and the usual few servers are working the room as well. What do you do?
Can I start by just like doing a scan of the room and trying to gauge the atmosphere? Everything seemed normal. If I can try. That is a 7.
Okay. Yeah, most of the people, you've only been in here a few times.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry, I lied. That is, because I have a feat for that.
Oh, nice. Yes. Use your
That
feats.
is sorry, I'm just looking up. I think it's a minimum of 8, which would make it a 12. Let me look. Make sure I'm not lying. Oh, nope, I'm lying. That feature is only for if I'm trying to tell if somebody's lying or not.
Okay. So 7 it is.
I'm the one lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some folks you've seen here before. There's some folks you haven't seen here, but they're all dressed similarly. You assume they're probably from Dagger Falls or out in the nearby homesteads and farms. And people seem to be eating lunch and talking and, again, raising a glass here and there. Quiet conversation at the bar. Carrie's down at one end of the bar, and he lifts his head. Well, very good to see you all. Thank you for coming in. And he ambles down to the open end of the bar. What can I get for you? Oh, hello, Miss Fragile, Mr. Gears. Good to see you all again. What could
Was
I...
that Carrie talking?
Yeah, that's Carrie Willow. That's the barman. What
Okay.
could I get for you all today?
Well, you seem much more relaxed today, Carrie.
Oh, I mean,
There's
I'm
quite a
relaxed all the time.
agitated crowd in here last night.
Oh well, yeah, that's been happening. We get some people get stirred up about this and that, and local politics and whatnot. And it sometimes I have to calm them down, but yeah, today seems to be off to a good start.
I just like a nice glass of your wine, and if you got any of that blood sausage there, I can want a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit of that.
very well. Yes, we had a Master Lorvar had a fresh batch brought in from down near Mistledale yesterday morning, so we'll get you some of that for sure. So wine and some blood sausage. How about you? And he looks at Rue. What could I get for you?
Um, what else? What else is your specialty here?
Oh well,
What else do you do around here?
we currently have we caught and butchered a boar from up in the woods north of town, so we've got some nice pork belly roasting back in the back there. That might be if you're a meat eater, and of course other parts of the boar. But my favorite being he kind of leans back and he's wearing leather armor, and he does have a sword at his hip. Um, but the belly is my favorite, belly to belly and all. And he kind of smiles.
You know what? I'll try your favorite.
There will some roast pork belly. What would you like to drink with that, sir?
Just some water from me, I think.
Very well, very well. He looks.
Don't wanna put myself into a stupor.
It's not a bad idea. Yes, it is early after all. And I wouldn't want to have to, escort you out of the premises should you lose control of your faculties. And he kind of chuckles and lets his hand kind of fall to the pommel of his sword, just in case you're. He doesn't know you as well as the others, so he's kind of
I'll
clearly
just put my hands up.
sending a message, joking, not joking. He looks over at Gears suspiciously. Yeah. So then, I almost hate to ask, but is there anything you'd like?
You're muted, Dave.
Muted there.
Nope. Can you
There
hear
you
me?
are. Yep,
Yep.
now we can.
Okay. Weird. No, thank you.
Very well. Al, did you say you were joining them at the Dagger Reforged?
Yeah, I'll be along at
Okay.
some point.
Good. Very good.
Like I said, they just left. I'm still just getting in the library.
Very good. Very good. Carrie turns around and looks down at the end of the bar, and there's one of those kind of double doors in and out, and he yells, Barry Hasselfoot, get out here, son. We got orders. And he kind of ambles down, and he turns around. I'll make sure to get those drinks right away and get your orders in for your lunch. And out bursts in a cloud of dust, basically, this little halfling who looks very familiar to you. It's the young man who was at the constabulary earlier grousing about the missing pouch. And he, yes, sir, right away. Then what will it be? Oh, well, we need to have a fine order of that roast pork belly. I'm sure it's got to be about done by now. That'll go over there to the gentleman in the leathers. And then Miss Fragile here is going to have some of that fresh blood sausage and a glass of wine. And I'll get the drinks. But you see about the food, if you will, son. Right away, sir. Right away. And he, excitedly scuttles back into the back to
Before he runs off.
Yeah.
Before he runs off, I'll just say, "Did you manage to find that purse of yours?"
He stops and turns around and looks. No, sir. Sure didn't. Constable hadn't done nothing about it neither. I don't know. Somebody's got it. And he stomps into the thing, and you see Carrie roll his eyes. Oh, for the love of God, don't get him started again. We just got him quieted down. He comes back down. What do you know about his missing coins? All 3 copper, no doubt. Much as he drinks his salary away in here.
We overheard him telling half the town about it.
Ah, yes, well, that wouldn't have been too tough to hear. As much as he was going on and on, you'd have think they'd stole some kind of rare stone or some magical weapon from him going on and on. I know the pouch had a sentimental value. It was his granddaddy's, but golly, they'd make plenty of leather. We can replace that easily enough. But and he kind of just shakes his head. I mean, I'm not one to overlook a crime now, see, but goodness.
He normally excitable like that?
Well, not normally. Only when you take his pouch, I suppose. And he kind of chuckles at his own little attempt at humor. He sets your glass of wine out in front of you for Julie and a nice cup of water for you, Rue.
There we go. It's a pretty stout coin pouch to have gone through Grandpa and down to grandson.
Well, you know how those little people are. They're pretty sentimental that way. So you know how it is. Thank you for the host's hour's tale. Appreciate that. I don't know.
I think
Kind
I
of
might
shrugs.
help look into that a little bit. I'm curious about what makes a piece of leather so sentimental that you could get that upset about it.
Well, I believe his grandmother made it for his grandfather long, long ago, before they were married, even. So you know, his grandfather carried it for years, and it's worn and soft like an old stocking, like a baby's behind. You know, things that people carry around
Guess
to
it's something I'm
remember their loved ones.
still learning stuff. My grandfather was a murderous wretch, so
Ah, well,
I
goodness.
really had no attachments to him.
I could see why you might not. Yeah, well, very nice. Lovely. Grandfather, where did you say you were from again, Miss Fragile?
Oh, well, I'm from, well, here and there. You know, all kind of around the Dalelands.
Hmm,
Kind of traveled a bit.
interesting. What did you say your grandfather's name was? I don't suppose you did say, but now you got me curious.
Well, um, I don't know that we ever really talked about Grandpa's name too much, but most people just called him Lord.
Oh, well, Lord, and he's a murderous wretch of a lord. Well, that's how do you
Yeah.
put those things together? Goodness.
Well, he kind of thought that he was better than everybody else, and kind of, how do I put this in a genteel manner? He believed that people that worked for him were basically his property.
Oh my, I could see that not going over real well. Thankfully, we don't have that sort of arrangement here in Daggerdale. Lord Cormero might be a little haughty and well-to-do, but he's fair enough and a good soul. And I believe, beside his wealth and influence, he does have the best interest of the people of Daggerdale at heart, after all, which is, you know, all you can hope for with someone who's, you know, what do they say? The golden rule: those who have the gold make the rules. Could be worse for us, I suppose. And he picks up a
Yeah.
flagon from behind the bar and takes a drink and sets it back down.
Virgilia's gonna kind of sit down and eat and keep an eye on the bar and try to see if the mood changes at all.
Okay, that's fair. Gears and Rue, kind of same thing. A young lady, a half elven gal, comes out, hair tied back and kind of wrapped in a bun, apron, you know, the typical what you would expect a serving person, and she comes right down behind the bar and sets your plates in front of you. A nice plate of blood sausage for you, Fragile, and a nice pile of roasted, pretty well rendered. There's still fat being pork belly, but it's pretty well rendered. Smoked, you could just smell it's been smoked. It's got a hint of kind of a maple hickory smoke going on. The blood sausage frigili is just as exactly as you'd expect it. You bite into it, and it's got that tinny iron tang, but there's spices in there that you've not ever had that really balance the tang of the blood very well, kind of sweeten it a little bit so that blood isn't so off-putting. And a lovely red wine with it.
Well, I'll tell you what, the food around here, just every time I take a bite of food around here, I feel like it's just exquisite.
Well, he looks back at the server as she goes back in, and she kind of smiles and kind of gives you a little genuflect. Well, thank you very much. I take a lot of pride in how I cook and prepare food.
Is Carrie still there?
Yeah, he's been standing at the bar talking with you this whole time.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. So, do you see much of? Sorry, just blanked on the name.
Lorivar?
Lorvar, thank you. Yeah, sorry, I blanked on it. Do you see much of Lorvar? Much?
Oh, why do you ask? He is a proprietor after all. Kind of looks at you rather inquisitively.
Just curious about the history of the place. We're gonna likely be around here for a little while, and just getting to know who's around and who's important to know.
Oh, sure. Well, of course, I'm important to know as the former constable. Zal may be a striking figure and rule with an iron fist, but he learned all he knows from me, of course. And he kind of winks and rolls his eyes a little bit. Well, what would you like to know about? You mean the history of this here establishment?
Sure. What's the story behind the dagger there?
Oh, well.
Sure, yeah. It must be quite the tale.
That's a beauty, isn't it? And he looks up and kind of stands aside and lets you all kind of take it in. And it's it's in this container, but from what you can see, it's been lit by some means, and it looks to be a beautifully made elven. You can see some scroll work etching on the flat of the blade. It's got a beautiful little guard between the blade and the pommel. Well, that's an interesting tale indeed. That dagger showed up, was sitting right here on this bar, right about, and he points to a spot on the bar. Not long after Master Lorvar made the purchase. In fact, he purchased it from me. I owned the tavern for a number of years. Oh gosh, this place goes back over 100 years. And it had been taken over by Lord Randall Morn's constabulary some time ago. Seems that the folks that were patronizing the establishment were causing a bit of a ruckus here in Dagger Falls. They were dealing in raids and smuggling, things of that nature. And so the constabulary took it over and run off all the riffraff. And a number of years ago, I purchased it from the town of Dagger Falls, and I ran it for quite some time. But Lorvar, it's funny you should ask. I haven't spoken to him in a day or two. And he kind of leans in, looks at you all kind of curiously. He's been locked up in his office for a couple of days now. There's been a bit of a mood or something. I don't know exactly, but given his demeanor before he closed himself in, I'd say he's in a good place right now. And he kind of chuckles. But Lorvar is an interesting story. He was quite the crafty little pickpocket when I first made his acquaintance, if you can imagine, with me being the constable and all. And he got into a bit of a scrape here and there, and Lorvar's best friend was killed in an attempted burglary break-in, and we caught Lorvar. But some of the folks that were, shall we say, negatively influencing the young man escaped. And Lorvar was pretty young then. He's still quite a young man, but so I took him under my wing and tried to help him remake himself, and he has done just that. He spent the last before he bought the tavern, he spent the last 3 years before that adventuring here and there, doing some good works for the town, and he amassed enough wealth to make a down payment to purchase the back then it was known as the Broken Dagger. But interestingly enough, we decided to rename it the Dagger Reforged based on Lorvar's story and the fact that this beautiful dagger showed up here sitting on the bar one day, and no note, no nothing. And just such a beautiful piece, I decided to go ahead and make a display case for it and put it up over the bar back here. And there it sits.
You think someone just left it here?
It was, like I said, it was just laying on the bar. I will say that you see that illumination, it's all lit up so and so. There's no candle in that box or anything. That box is pretty well closed up. But that illumination come from Kessler the Bard. She's the one that owns the Red Rock outside of town there to the north along the road. Yeah, that's her doing. I don't know if you've been in there. Have you all been in there yet? You ought to go. She makes some wonderful pheasant and an amazing porridge and for the morning. And yeah, you ought to check that out. But she you go in there and she's some kind of, I don't know, illusion wizard or some such thing. But she's the one that illuminated that for us. But there was a note that was with the dagger. It's laying up there in the case. Let me see now. Let this fine blade keep you ever mindful of the past and always looking to the future. Yeah, that's right. So, the dagger reforged. Lorvar's story of a non-broken dagger here on the bar. Here we are. 2 years later, wonderful business, although I will say here lately, the last week or so, strangely enough, business has been falling off.
That's quite the tale. And that was, I assume, years ago that the dagger turned up.
It turned up right after he bought the tavern. Like, it hadn't even been renamed yet. It was still the Broken Dagger, as it had been since it was first constructed. Mm-hmm. Oh, and yeah, we built the, let's see, how long ago was that now? Oh, let's see. Oh, about 30 years ago, we built the second story with the inn rooms and expanded the stable out to the rear. So, yeah, it's been a good business. Once Lord Morn took it over and drove out all the riffraff, wow, this has been a highlight, a shining beacon here in Dagger Falls. Wonderful place to sit and have a drink, a meal or two.
Well, I gotta tell you, Carrie, you sound like a pillar of the community.
Well, I mean,
sounds like this place would fall apart without you.
He kind of winks at Fragile. Oh, by the way, what do you think of that pork belly? Am I right?
It's quite delicious.
I don't know what that young lady does with it, but boy, it's good. Very good. Fragile, roll me a
I will kinda
perception.
cast-
Go ahead, Rue.
Nope, I was just gonna try to catch Fragili's eye.
Okay.
Um, perception. I have a whopping +0, so that's a 13.
Okay. You notice that your wine has soured. Like, soured
Hey,
to vinegar.
Carrie,
Yes, ma'am.
taste this. What are you serving me, man?
Well,
Is that stuff they cook with?
what's the matter? What's wrong?
Tastes like vinegar.
What? Here, give that here. He reaches over for your goblet, kind of swirls it and smells it, and he's immediately like, whoa. Is it? Well, that's not right. Let me get you another.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me get you another one of them. Elena. And he kind of hollers. He stumps rather quickly over to the double doors and sticks. Elena, could you come out here and take a look at this cask of wine here? And she comes out and goes down the bar and kind of gets down on her knees, and you hear kind of thumping and bumping around and stuff. And you see a hand reach up and grab a clean goblet, and she stands up and swirls it. It smells fine to me. She takes a sip. Oh yeah, very good. What's the matter? Well, this my friend Fragile here has got some vinegar in her goblet, and he hands it to Elena, and she's like, same reaction. Oh, well, let's get you a fresh one on the house, of course. And she pours you another wine and sets it on the bar.
Big sip. Swish it around.
It's fine. It's very good.
Else having similar problems around the tavern?
What's that?
Is anyone else having similar problems around the tavern with their drink?
Everybody's kind of talking and chatting and doing their thing. Whoops, I managed to make the Zoom box go away. I'll return that to view. Gotta quit touching things. There we go. Sorry about that, y'all. No, everything seems to be normal.
So, out of character, because Andrew's not a wine drinker, what would make wine go vinegary?
Over time, exposed to air, it would definitely start to go bad. Manium probably has a better idea than any of us.
It's oxidation, and it usually takes place over like a course of days, not like in a snap reaction like that. So
Yeah.
being this what it
Listen to the
is,
presence.
probably magic.
If only Algernon were there.
I don't have a spell about being a sommelier though. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not really helpful in like the food and beverage department.
Well, that's definitely out of the ordinary. We pride ourselves on the quality of our wines that we get here. That's strange because normally, that takes a while for wine to sour like that, unless you put it in a bad wineskin, then it'll go bad rather quickly.
Well, is it a dirty cup?
Well, I absolutely not.
Good answer.
And then he starts looking at the other goblets. Okay, yeah, no, they all look very good. Very
Gary, you
strange.
said people have been a little out of sorts lately.
Well, there's Master Lorvar there. I don't know why he's all off by himself, but that seems kind of odd. But we've had a couple of arguments. In fact, we had a fella last night got so mad he stabbed his table mate with a fork. They were fighting over some such, and I had to escort them out. In fact, I took the fork-wielding buffoon down to the constabulary let Zol's men deal with that. I've retired from that nonsense.
Alrighty then. How's the victim?
Oh, he's fine. He's fine. He made a big fuss about it. I mean, I would too, I suppose, if someone stabbed me with a fork in the middle of an inn, but all things being equal, he just got a couple holes in his arm. He'll be all right.
Just a couple.
Nothing too serious.
Any of the victims anyone I know from my time here?
No, just a couple regulars. Yeah, a couple of the farmers. You know, they're stubborn lot out there, out in the Dalelands. It pays to be stubborn and fierce and strong-hearted. You know, because you're out there on the wild. But yeah, they got into quite a row, and we had a fork stabbing of all things. Very very bizarre.
Yeah.
Harry,
Sounds.
something strange is going on here.
What do you mean?
My pork, my pork is starting to taste strange as well.
What?
I kind of pushed my plate toward him.
Well, that's rather strange. He looks at it, grabs a clean fork from behind the bar, takes a bite, and he's like, "Oh, that's awful. That's rancid. That's terrible." Elena, he yells again. She comes out like rolling her eyes, like, taste this gentleman's pork belly. Tell me if that ain't rancid. It's all unbelievable. And she tastes
As
it.
he's talking to Elena, can I lean over to Fragile and kind of whisper to her? Is that do you have any way of detecting if something magical's going on?
Sadly, no. I whisper back. Not my forte.
I glance for a brief second at Gears and then just kind of shake my head.
I don't think Gears does either. We need Al.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we go gather him up from his? He's probably still awake or half asleep, drooling on one of the Lord's books.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think something specifically here is going on. One of us should stay here, and the other one go and get him.
Would you like some more?
Anyone, watching us?
Roll perception. Would you like
Anyone
some more?
watching us? Okay.
Yeah, roll perception. Would you like some more pork belly there, Mr.
Yeah.
Rue? I do apologize. I don't understand that.
No, I think I got my fill, but I appreciate that.
Well,
Yeah, once you get a taste of something bad.
right. Yeah, no, we
15.
won't charge you for that. 15, you say?
Yep.
Yeah, if you look around, you don't see anybody watching you. Elena's been summoned out to the dining room. There's a what appears to be a angry group of patrons standing up and stomping out, refusing to pay. And Carrie Willow hustles right over there to try and tend to it, and they refuse to be tended to and leave in a huff. And after a few moments of he talking with Elena and kind of scolding her, and she kind of sets her jaw and puts her hands on her hips, and you see some of that back and forth. You can't really hear what's being said. They're across the tap room. And she stomps off to the kitchen, and he comes and sits at the end of the bar by himself, all in a harumph.
Unusual. Or is this normal?
No, it's certainly not normal. But I'm at a loss. What could be causing this? Doesn't seem like it's where the food was stored because it came out fine, the food and wine. But something out here is causing things to go
So
haywire.
Yeah, I want to go up and get Al, but I think I want to order another glass of wine, and I want to order some of that pork belly, and I want to eat it on my way there,
Okay.
like instead of sitting in the dagger.
Okay. Yeah. Carrie comes down as you kind of catch. Yes, Miss Fragile, what can I do for you? You have to pardon. We're having quite a day here with. What can I get for you, ma'am?
You wouldn't mind if I just went for a walk with your goblet? You know I'd bring it back. And maybe a slab of that pork belly.
Oh, very well. Uh, yes. Okay. Pork belly. Right. Okay. And he goes back into the kitchen. And you're just kind of standing there.
I'm paying attention to my surroundings.
Okay. He comes back out with a like a container of the pork belly. Here you go. Go ahead and taste that. Make sure it's all right. And he hands you a clean fork.
Oh, and I'm assuming it tastes good.
Yes.
Is it like that melt in your mouth that I saw
my
Rue
God,
get when
man!
you first ate
It's
it?
got this maple kind of glaze on it. A little barky in places. A little crust, and it's got that chewiness that you get when something caramelizes really well. Yeah. Not only the sugar in the meat, but there's been some maple to help it caramelize, and yeah, it's succulent to say the least.
You gotta stop describing stuff, brother. So I'm gonna nibble on it. I don't want to eat it all right there, and I'm gonna take off. I don't know if anybody's joining me to go get Al, but I definitely want to get out of the dagger before anything happens to kind of just test the food. And I'm gonna nibble on it all the way there. I'm not gonna drink it or eat it all at once.
Scott, how much do we figure Carrie lost from the people that left? Just rough estimate.
It's hard telling without having a conversation. I mean, there was 4 people at the table. You would assume there was at least one round of drinks and probably some meals. So there's got to be, most of a couple gold pieces. You don't know how long they've been in there drinking.
As Fragile is getting up to go, I'd like to stick my foot out and kind of loop it around her ankle and toss it behind her other leg so that she trips.
Wait, what?
Fragile, roll me a dex save at disadvantage, please.
Disadvantage?
Yeah, you had no idea that was coming.
Oh, that's pretty good. Still, I got 10's my low. Is it straight dex or?
Yeah, just make me a dex roll. I have a DC of 15 in mind. Because you're focused on this absolutely delicious container of pork belly.
Well, that's a 27 or 12.
Or 12. Okay, 12 is the number we're looking for at disadvantage. Yeah, so you and your pork belly go face plant and take a couple chairs flipped over. You're not injured or anything, but maybe your pride. I don't know. I'll let you RP that. Down you go.
So I trip, but I want to try and make another dex save to try and save the wine.
Okay.
Oh no, that's a. I nat wanted that. I rolled nat 1 on that one.
Yeah. So that wine goes across the room.
Son of a bitch! Oh, sorry. Sorry. And she's looking around, going.
I burst out laughing and just clapping. And I go and sit down on her back before she gets a chance to get back up.
Why, Rue? What on earth are you doing, boy? What are you doing?
That was the funniest thing I have ever seen.
Carrie Willow comes around the bar. What are you doing? What, Miss Fragile, man? Oh my goodness! I'll replace your wine. He kind of tries to move you off of her, not terribly gently. In fact, you can roll a strength.
Ooh,
Who's rolling the
nice.
strength?
For sorry,
Right.
Rue. Man, I just had a brain slip there.
15.
Okay, I got a dirty 20. I got an 18 on the die. So he pushes you onto your keister a little roughly and glares at you and helps Fragile
Just
to
kind
her
of roll over and laugh and clap some more.
helps Fragile to her feet. Oh, Miss Fragile, I will replace everything. Are you all right? Are you be quiet, boy. We'll deal with you in a moment. And he
That was hilarious. Gears,
Yeah.
that not funny.
She's just like deadpan staring at Rue.
Gears. Tell me that was not the funniest thing you've ever seen.
Gears, you better tell him the truth about that.
I stick my tongue out at her.
While this is going on, Gears has subtly or none too subtly left some money behind the counter for our patron and is getting up and moving towards Rue and Fragile to shuffle them out the door because they've clearly had too much of something.
No. Just a moment. Don't anybody go anywhere. Please don't leave. It's been a day. Miss Fragile, please go on about your business. When you return, young lady, I'll have just a piping hot bowl of that pork belly just waiting for you, and it's on the house. And I don't mean on the floor on the house, if you take my meaning. See what I did there? Yeah.
Some of them pickled onions to go with.
Yes, sir. Whatever you. Yes.
Pickled
Oh,
onions?
yes, ma'am. Whatever you wish for, my dear. I'm so sorry. I will deal with this rapscallion.
As Gears comes toward me, I'd like to try to spin around behind him and catch them, behind the knees and try to take them to the ground too and grab his cloak and kind of fling him.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let's make this a dexterity-based attack, given your description of kind of darting and spinning. And then I'm going to have Gears make a dexterity roll. How'd you do there, Rue?
So it's a straight dexterity check?
Yeah, just roll me dex like an attack roll, and you can throw your proficiency on that since you're such a dexterous merchant.
That's 22.
At 24, 23.
Nat 20, did you say, Gears? Nice. So describe for me,
sir.
Gears, how you parry, dodge, thrust, whatever it is, to thwart Rue's attempt at pulling you down and tangling you up with your cloak.
Yeah, he just catches Rue by the front of his cloak or whatever clothing and lifts them up and starts to frog march them out the door. I assume Fragile is either following or getting scooped along in their wake. We are leaving now. You are behaving unusually.
Oh, Rue? I'm Rue. You're Gears. Come on, Gears. Just have a little fun for once.
I think you put all the booze in the pork belly.
Well, Rue didn't eat a
What?
whole lot of it before it started feeling bad or tasting
Whoa. What's going on?
We're outside. Gears has a fistful of pretty much you. And
Whoa.
Fragile you're off the ground and Fragile is getting scooped along in the process.
That was
With
in
a new
character,
glass
by
of
the way,
wine in her
asking
hand,
what's
by the
going
way.
on.
bad. What was that for, Julie?
I said with another glass of wine as I left. I got to
Yes.
do my test.
Yes.
For the record, Scott, Gears left behind 4 gold pieces and 10 silver behind the bar for our patron.
Okay.
I need to come wait on you.
Ushahar, are you feeling better?
Yeah, I'm a little confused.
You tripped Miss Fragile. Attempted the same on myself. That is unwise.
Uh, I'm sorry. I don't. I don't understand what happened. What?
You were behaving most out of character. Let us find.
Wiley, do I have memory of what just happened, or what's my mental state right now?
You feel like you were kind of blacked out. You're like, what? You're just totally confused. Why am I outside? Why are you holding
Yeah,
on to
I
me?
just I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
It is okay. No harm.
We should go and find Al.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to do.
Before the domesticated aliens crow.
I will put a hand on Fragili's shoulder. I'm sorry. I
Gotcha. Gotcha. But next time I'm gonna stab you, just so you know. Just telling you.
You can certainly
That's
try.
for the ladies' wine.
At this point, Al walks up and sees everybody kind of in whatever disoriented state. Fragile looking kind of salty. What has happened here? Is everyone all right?
Most unusual. Rujahar acted unusually. Tripped Fragili.
He lost his damn mind. That's what happened.
Attempted to trip me.
There's something weird going on in there, Al. The meat turned rancid, the wine turned vinegary, and then, but Fragile, you were unaffected. You didn't. I don't.
Well, minus the nasty taste in my mouth. Yeah.
I have heard of this before. If you allow me a few moments, I may be able to figure something out.
As you're standing there talking and sorting this all out, all of a sudden, all these weeds and vines and thorny, planty things sprout and shoot out of the ground and begin to wrap around you guys. Right out in front of the dagger reforged. I need you all to make a strength saving throw or be restrained by these plants as they kind of wrap around your ankles and legs and waists.
You got an 18.
The DC is
I got a 12.
14.
Can I use one of those plus twos?
You sure can. You currently have 6 of them.
Do it.
I'd like to use one to make mine a 14. And
That would get you there.
I got a 12, but I'm going to use one of my lucky die and try to give that one a go again.
Nice.
Oh, no, that's even worse. Okay, no. Just put me down for a no.
Got an 18.
Okay. So, Algernon, you're restrained. Rue, how did you make out?
Is that all?
Nick, I got an 18.
18. Gears, you had enough. And for Geely, you used a +2 to be unrestrained. So you're currently stuck in, by stuck, I mean just kind of, trapped but not restrained. Fighting with these vines and things as they kind of wrap and swirl and grab you. It's kind of like difficult terrain. So you're kind of at half movement as you hassle with these things.
Yeah, are they continuing to try to grab us, or?
They've kind of sprouted up, and you've managed to not be restrained. But now it's just this big, instant thicket. About a 20-foot-ish footprint of thicket just came out of the ground, out of nowhere, and has caught you up in it. Algernon, Al is definitely restrained. He's struggling. He can't really move. Yeah, he's having a hard time.
I'm not very strong, man. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
I'm a
I mean,
bookworm.
I'm not very strong either, but I made my save, man.
I did
so-
not. I did not either time.
I needed
failed
some.
it twice.
I needed a little help.
Yeah, so I'm gonna draw my short swords and start heading over to Al and try to cut him free.
Okay. Yeah, you
Um,
you can certainly do that. What were you saying there for Geely?
I'm gonna wait till Rue finishes. I had a little delay in my brain,
Okay,
so
fair enough. Yeah, Rue, why don't you make a
I'll let
swing
Rue
with your
finish what he's doing.
short sword? Make an attack roll on some of the vines around Al. You probably don't want to roll a 1.
Rolling.
Careful.
Careful.
I did not roll a 1.
That's good.
Yes.
I've got a 26.
Nice. Yeah. Very good.
25.
So
Surgery precision.
and then roll me a second one as you hack away at some of the vines that are wrapping around Al.
Is this a separate
Second
turn,
attack
or
roll.
is it the same
Just
sword?
we're not in any kind of initiative. Just take another
Yeah,
swing.
So, okay.
Yeah.
That's another 15.
Yeah. Okay, you're good. So you, with a couple of swings, you manage to hack enough away that it starts to fall off of Al. It doesn't respond to you, so it's not like a living, attacking thing. It just, when it came out of the ground, it grabbed Al, and you guys managed to not be grabbed. And now there's just this thicket of, vines and heavy shrubs, brambles. A little thorny, but nothing that's going to cause actual harm.
No evidence of anyone obvious spell casting.
All you see are a few people who've stopped and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" They're pointing and looking and like, "Oh, it's magic! Which one of them did it?" That kind of thing. Outbursts Carrie Willow because he wanted you to stay and you left, and he stops. Well, what's happening here? Where did all this mess come from? What on earth is going on here? Are you all right?
That's what we were asking.
Help me! I'm not in any danger, right? Well, aside from just being caught up by a plant, I'm not being squeezed or crushed.
No, you are not
Okay.
taking any sort of damage. You sense no malice.
Okay.
I mean, the thing
just
isn't even
tangle
attacking you. Yeah, no, you're just in a hot mess in the middle of the brambles.
Is he
Yeah.
still restrained?
No, he's no longer restrained.
He's still restrained?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
he's
okay.
no longer restrained. Yeah, he can get out.
Got it.
Yeah.
Al's gonna get away from any of this plant thing, wherever it may be. Back up if he has to.
Yeah, you can. It's basically centered in about a
and-
20-foot square right out in front of the inn where you all were standing.
Yeah, I'm still gonna back up and at least pull out my spell book just in case.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay with Al with my swords drawn, just trying to stay and help him in any way that I can.
Maybe we should go
if
back
anything
inside.
else attacks him.
Maybe we should go back inside
Al?
and have a drink.
What is this, Al?
I do not know, and I would need a couple of moments undisturbed to find out. I have a ritual that I can cast, but I need to be left alone for I think it's 10 minutes, an hour.
Yes, 10 minutes.
That's all for ritual casting is 10 minutes. I would need just a little over 10 minutes to see if something nearby is magical. So I guess I'm not going to go inside. I just got here. You guys look like a mess. You're telling me bad stuff's happening inside. I'm going to back up like a good little distance. So the plant just kind of grew up, and then what? It's just a plant.
It's
now
just
in the middle
there.
of the
Yeah,
road?
it's just there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna back up a safe distance from it.
Okay.
And do the detect magic ritual.
Okay, what are the rest of you
Um,
doing as Al begins
just
to focus in? Describe what it looks like when you get into this ritual, Algernon.
um, it's going to look like a really kind of deep meditation with his arms seemingly flailing all about, but that's just to scan or get like a spatial awareness of the area.
Okay. So as you start to do
So
this,
I'm.
yes, go ahead, Rue. Yeah.
Oh no, I thought you wanted all of us
Yeah, I did. I
to
forgot that
describe
I
what we were
said that. Go
doing.
ahead. What are each of you going to be doing as Al gets started on his ritual?
So I am standing just outside of uh, his radius, and I've still got my swords drawn, sort of at my side, and I'm just like looking around.
Very well. Fragile, what will you be doing?
I think that I'm not gonna draw my sword, but I think I'm gonna kind of stand guard and make sure, uh, looking out. I'm not gonna watch him. Out. I'm gonna make sure nobody like comes up on him. Just keep any crowds or nosy people clear of him.
Okay. Yeah, there's been a few people kind of circle around and watch what's happening, but nothing weird is, they're not posing a threat or anything. Gears, what will you be doing, sir?
Well, much the same. They'll be standing guard directly behind Al, just sort of a safe wall behind him, and the glaive at rest, but ready to go.
Okay. Carrie draws his blade. Very, very nice sword. Beautiful sword. And Al, as you get into your ritual, the plants actually begin to wither and crumble, and it's like advanced rotting decomposition, and they literally just wither away and turn to dust.
And this is
Virgilia's
before I
gonna
finish.
finish her wine. And be like, well, I guess that answers that question.
This is well before you finish your ritual.
Okay.
Well, we should all go back in and enjoy a fresh beer, I believe. I mean, I know that's what I'm going to do. And he sheaths his sword, and I invite you all to come in and do the same. And nothing to see here, people. Go on about your day. I don't know what that was, but everything's fine now, as you can clearly see. In fact, we got fresh pork belly. Well, never mind. Come back tomorrow. Yeah, do that. And he clearly a little disturbed
We'll
wanders
be in
back
a
in.
moment, Carrie.
I'm sorry?
We'll be in a moment, Carrie. I think
Oh.
we should let Al do his magic thing.
Oh, right. Very well.
I
Well,
think
well,
that's our best chance of figuring out what's going on here.
I'll have some ales drawn and ready at the bar for you. No charge, by the way, for your trouble. I do apologize, whatever all this is. And he goes back into the bar. Fragile, perception for me, please.
1921.
You sense with Carrie Willow that you've not seen him that little off his center there. He seems to be kind of taken aback with what just happened out in front of the inn. I mean, you guys aren't lifelong friends, but you've been around him enough to know that he's very even keel, kind of unflappable, confident. Used to be the constable, for goodness sake, but you could tell he's a little perplexed at what's going on here.
Well, I'll approach him like, Carrie, what got you so shaken, man?
Oh, here's your ale. Yes. Well, I mean, I never seen a bunch of plants, a thicket, just appear in the street like that. Have you? That's not normal.
Well, there's probably not much I've seen that you haven't seen, being you kind of my senior and whatnot. So no, I haven't seen any other strange stuff like that been happening.
Ah,
I mean, not necessarily plants growing out of the road, but
no, I never heard of such a thing. the plants in the road and all of that. And what's happening with with the with the wine and the pork belly? I mean, that's a fresh kill. That hog that shouldn't be rancid like. I mean, that meat tasted awful. Poor Rue. I feel terrible.
Yeah, well, we might need to do a little investigating. You should let Al get in there. Maybe he can figure something out. He's kind of our most knowledgeable person.
Oh well, I mean, I'd be much obliged for anything you could do, for sure.
Well, let me see if I can convince him to head on in. He's probably a little freaked out. I mean, you kind of understand why, but
Well, yes. And he's, all the time you're talking, he's, already drained a tankard of ale. Just kind of calming his nerves.
yeah. I'm gonna slide my ale over towards him. Says you wouldn't have any wine, would you?
Oh, wow, of course, yes, of
You
course,
drink
man.
my ale.
Yes, free of charge. I'll take care of that ale for you, though. And he kind of winks at you. And he pours you a fresh goblet of wine and sets it down. This one smells mighty wonderful, so enjoy. Compliments of the Dagger Reforged, of course, and Master Lorvar, wherever he may be.
She's gonna take a whiff of the wine and swish it first before she imbibes.
Yeah, it's a deep fruity red.
Oh, that
Definitely wets your whistle.
much better, much better. So, Al, where is Al? Is Al still outside?
Al, Rue, and Gears are outside. Let's cut scene and go to them.
I don't think there's much happening. I'm just standing watch, waiting for Al.
Any trees or greenery around the Dagger Reforged? Like major plants of any kind?
There's, like very sparse landscaping. There's trees here and there inside the walls of Dagger Falls, but nothing like a thicket or a woodlot or anything. Just, nothing out of the ordinary.
I'm just wondering because this comes very close to my either recollection just out of character is the work of either druids in some part or dryads, and we've pissed off one batch and met another on the way back. So anyway, I was just wondering if there was a dryad at work or something, and if there were big enough trees. But Gears doesn't know anything about this, so they don't care.
Yeah, you just know that a thicket of vines and thorny shrubs and brambles has grown up and kind of enveloped the four of you, and most particularly Al. And then within a few minutes, it began to decay and went away to dust. And Dagger Falls has seemingly kind of gone back to its normal. There are people on the streets, and you can hear hollering and a few kids playing in the alleyways between some of the buildings and the like.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna make sure everything goes well till Al finishes. Information's kind of a big thing right now.
I have a feeling you're not going to get very much from me.
Well, I mean, we'll be used to that, but
I'm going to be even more disappointing than usual.
oh, nice.
I don't think 11's getting it done.
How close are the closest people to us, Wiley?
Like I said, there's kind of people just milling about. You could certainly, grab someone's attention if you wish to talk with them. It's not, the streets aren't incredibly crowded. It's still kind of early afternoon, mid-afternoon. So most people are plying their trade or sleeping because they plied their trade overnight.
Yeah, it's more like I would want to keep people from approaching.
Ah, yes. Um, Nobody's, trying to come to the Dagger Reforged after that little display.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, Al's going to kind of, I guess, snap back into focus. And as far as what's in his peripheral vision from outside, um, he points to where is there anything left, like withered plants, or is it just like it vanished?
It kind of went to dust. It all decomposed. You've seen plants compost and rot and decompose, or die and become dry and brittle, and that's basically what's happened. There just isn't much there. What would normally take,
walk over to.
I was going to say, what would normally take weeks to occur as far as decomposition happened in a mere moment or two.
He's going to get up and go to the spot where the plants were just to get a better look, and then turn to who's outside. Uh, I cannot be too specific, but it does appear to be magical of some sort. And you said that people were behaving strangely inside the bar.
Uh, well, I behaved strangely. I'm apparently the only one. The food and the wine were turning, and presumably that affected me, although I don't know why it didn't affect Fragile. Maybe I'm just.
Uh,
Rue just kind of trails off.
with my detect magic up, looking at everybody who's outside, do I get a tick of anything from anybody?
There would be a couple of merchants pushing a cart with a donkey, and there's various enchantment auras coming from that cart. The occasional passerby may have maybe a magical item, again an enchantment magic. The occasional ring may glimmer. As groups of people come by. Anything that's on any of, I guess it would be Rue and Gears.
Or Rue.
Any of their things that would normally be magical would also glow in their appropriate school. Probably most likely enchantment.
Okay.
What you would expect, in other words, Al?
Okay. I'm gonna turn, I guess, and look towards towards the tavern. Is the I would imagine this thing looks like heat vision for the predator. Just at a certain point, magical stuff is one color, other things aren't. Is
Okay.
there any kind of like cue coming from the tavern or something adjacent to the tavern in addition to just where the plants were?
Nope.
All right, I'm still gonna go. If if it would be all right, if you could follow me, just so I could look around inside the bar to see if there's anything strange going on.
I'm right next to you.
Are you keeping your detect magic up then?
Yes.
Okay.
I got for 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go. If there's nothing outside or kind of, I can read through the walls. I'm just gonna go carefully step into the bar, and then scan pretty well the interior of the bar.
Okay. Yeah. So when you go in, the thing that strikes you dead away is this very strong illusion magic emanating from the bar back, and you see this very handsome wood, like a dark walnut case, and in it there's this glow of light, and inside of that case is a something. You're far enough away, 40 feet across the tap room. You can't really tell what's in the case, but there's big time illusion magic showing there. And then again, as you look around, you'll see Carrie Willow on his hip. His sword is glowing. enchantment magic of some sort. Maybe even he has a bracer that is glowing abjuration.
I would also point out the dagger in the case on the wall. Make sure that he gets a look at that.
All
Well,
right, so nothing big jumps out. It's weapons, enchanted things on people that would not be weird.
Right.
The probably the illumination for the dagger. What about towards the kitchen? None of the people. It's literally just stuff that you would expect to be enchanted or
Right.
magical.
That's fair. Yep.
Um,
And again,
okay.
like I said,
He's gonna
the
just
main.
with
Go ahead. Sorry.
if the big thing going off is going to be the dagger and the case behind the bar, I'm going to walk up to it so that I could actually visually inspect it as well as use whatever I can get from detect magic.
Okay. Are you going behind the bar, or are you going to stay on the patron side of the bar and just sit
no, I'm going to stay on the patron side of the bar.
Okay.
But if there was a bartender there, I would be definitely in his personal space.
Yeah, Carrie will be
Leaning
at the
over
bar drinking and again, this is an older, by older I mean mid-50s. I guess I'm 52. I should quit saying that's older. That's not really cool. But he's at the bar, balding. Yeah. Yes, sir. I believe you must be Algernon. Is that correct, as your friends refer to you? Would you like an ale? I have an ale I just poured here, and he slides it towards you.
No, I appreciate the offer, my friend. I'm concerned for my friends and for yourself and your patrons as well. You saw what happened outside, and my companions tell me that they had a interesting incident in here earlier, from which they have recovered. But still, to be cautious in the name and the safety of my friends, I thought I should give it a look.
Ah, very well. Well, you may look around by all means.
Through abilities of my own, it is apparent that the whatever this is quite magical. What could you tell me about the magic that surrounds it?
Oh, I see the dagger here. Yes. Well, I'm quite confident that the Miss Kessler from the Red Rock Inn outside of town, enchanted or whatever. I don't know the right words, but she makes it glow with that beautiful light. But beyond that, the dagger just showed up here. I really don't know anything about it.
He's going to take as close a look at it as he can from the side of the bar. If you don't mind, can you hand it to me?
His eyes get kind of big. Oh, I don't. Master Lorvar's never really let anyone handle it. He just had it out for a few days, cleaning it and so forth in his office, but it never really leaves that case. But for cleaning and so forth, we've never really. It's just a very special piece.
Al, do you want me to get it for you?
He kind of looks at you with the side look.
It. I appreciate it, but I do not believe that will be necessary. Al's going to then cast Suggestion, use his portent roll, which will be a 3 for Carrie. My friend, may I make a suggestion that Boulevard will not care if I see it for just a moment. I suggest that you bring it down and give it to me. I promise. I am no thief.
Well, now that you put it that way, I mean, I don't personally have a problem with it myself. Unfortunately, I do not have the key to the lock that keeps the lid closed. I could try to get it from Master Lorvar. He's in the back somewhere. Apparently indisposed. I don't know. I haven't seen him in a day or two.
That would not be necessary. Perhaps I may have a means to getting in. I don't want you to get in trouble with the Lord. And he's going to kind of give a look over to Rue, kind of knowingly
reaching into his pouch,
knowingly shooing him over. And just to kind of be subtle about it, he's going to grab Carrie by the shoulder and kind of turn his back to the case, and just kind of politely make small talk with him, while Rue does his thing while shielding the obvious breaking in from the rest of the patrons if possible.
Okay. Yeah, Rue, if you want to come around, I presume, and attempt to open locks on the,
Yeah.
and you do find on the side, on one end, it's kind of a rectangular. On one end, you do see that there is a lock there that would receive a key. You can certainly use your thieves' tools and do your thing.
I'm going to use an inspiration on that.
No. Jeez.
Perhaps
That's a natural 20.
perhaps a
Awesome.
recently earned inspiration.
Woo.
Yes.
Was that I awarded him
So
I awarded
that
him
is-
inspiration for his RP a few moments ago.
Yes, you did a good job with it.
So that's a 25.
And you said,
Nice.
yeah, 25. Okay, so you tinker around with your little picks and clips and things, and you hear the familiar sound that every merchant craves to hear, that click. And you're just like, oh, it's kind of like going home.
Does it appear to be trapped in any way?
A little late.
Oh man, you should have
Yeah.
asked that earlier. As a
And go ahead and make
Should've.
your saving throw.
24d8 fireball. No, you're kidding. You're fine. No traps. Nothing flies out at you. Nothing. It clicks like it should, and you have that that. Oh yeah, still got it.
I will pull out a handkerchief or something and try to use that to take the dagger down and set it in front of Algernon.
Okay. Yeah. It and
Um,
go ahead.
okay.
Now, listen, Al. The dagger's been here for years. We know that much. I don't know if it has anything to do with what's going on. I will also tell you, when I was acting weird, there was some kind of voice in my head telling me what to do, and I couldn't really say no to it, which I've never had happen before.
Very interesting, my friend. Al's going to kind of walk over to Fragile and kind of hand Carrie off to her, to occupy. While, like I said, I don't want to see him overdoing. Perhaps you would talk to your compatriot Fragile. She had a rough experience in here. Maybe you should make sure
Oh.
she is happy so that she may return at a later date.
Yes, I forgot. Miss Virgili, you were going to have some more blood sausage, as I recall. Let me arrange for that right away. Do you wish to sit at the bar here, or would you like to have a table for you and your friends?
I think that my friends and I would appreciate a table, maybe in a corner.
Very well. That over there by the hearth is available. And again, I do apologize. I will get that blood sausage together for you straight away, ma'am. Thank you for your patience and kindness and understanding. I surely don't know what's happening today. Most queer. And he hustles off to get you some more blood sausage.
Al's going to take the dagger and go sit down in the corner, and as subtly as he can, bang out another ritual of identify to see anything particular about the dagger itself, more than just whether it's magical or not.
Julie will be perceiving at her highest level, attempting to make sure nobody takes note, or if they do take note, that she shoots them a glance that says you need to stop taking note.
Okay.
I will also be looking around, probably much less intimidatingly.
There's a kind of a group at one end of the bar, and there's a group at a table and a third group at a table. But the crowd is thinned a little bit, what with all the chaos. And it appears that nobody's really paying much attention. They're all kind of talking and so forth. One of the conversations seems a little intense at one of the tables, but nothing.
Um, can I just kind of casually walk like down to the other end of the bar or something past the group and nonchalantly see if I can catch the subject of their conversation?
Sure, walk past him and roll me perception, please.
I'm rolling decently tonight. That's a 19.
Okay. You hear them arguing over the whether or not the ale's still good. A couple people are insisting that it's excellent as always, and one person's rather disgusted and whining about it, and then asking the other person, um, "Does does the wine seem okay?" And all it's just this kind of fuss about the quality of the wine. And if you want to roll insight as you listen to this.
That's a 15.
You get the sense from the person who's griping about the ale that they may be just trying to kind of take advantage of the fact that there's been a bad glass of wine and they're like, I'm gonna get my drinks for free and for the rest of my life and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I'll just continue to stroll to the other end and then back to where Howard and the others are.
So Al, you cast Identify.
Yes.
The dagger looks like a beautifully crafted, maybe elven make. You're not a weaponsmith or anything, but you've seen weapons and all, and it's a beautifully crafted, looks elven made. Hey, Sorrow's Tale, thanks for hanging out. Good night, buddy. Take care. And again, it's just this really, really strong sense of magic from the School of Illusion.
It appears as if this dagger is either an illusion or benefits from an illusion. Did anybody catch the story about this mysterious, illusionally enchanted dagger that they leave hanging behind a bar?
Just that it mysteriously showed up one day.
Shortly after the current owner of the bar bought it from the Mr. Willow.
I don't like it. This is an item of some power. Um, illusion seems to be an odd choice for a weapon. Uh, Perhaps it is not this ornate. Perhaps it is a forgery. There is a lot of work to keep this dagger looking like this.
It feels like a throwing knife.
And you notice as well, Al, that it definitely seems very light. It just feels good in your hand. You've held melee weapons in the past, and they've always felt a little unwieldy to you. And this one feels very comfortable in your hand.
I would guess due to its elven craftsmanship, that would be one of the kind of properties thereof.
As little as you know about blades, you just know that it feels good in your hand, and it looks to be of elven, high quality, beautiful blade.
Lily's gonna reach in there and try it when they start talking about it because she has a kind of a love of throwing knives. Since they're all attached to her leg.
Okay.
What do you think, Fragile? Do you like it? Does it feel real? Is it a fake?
What kind of a role would I need to?
Make I would say either intelligence or investigation, probably whichever's better for you, given your familiarity with weapons and the like.
Go with investigation. +4. That's a 22.
Okay. Yeah, you feel pretty confident that this is a, it feels balanced. You can flip it over in your hand. It feels lighter than most daggers. It doesn't have that weight at the top of the pommel that propels the weapon, into someone or across someone. It feels very light, like you could easily flip it and throw it, and it would, if you threw it from the blade, it would end up blade first, in the middle of someone's forehead. Just feels like a really nice, balanced dagger, lighter than you would think, most daggers feel.
You mind if I test it, Al? There's a throwing knife target out in front of the dagger reforged that I use sometimes.
Al's going to give a quick look to see if Carrie seems in any way unconcerned to this point that we've taken it out. We're sitting at a table with it.
He's back in the
still good to go.
kitchen. He went back to get Fragile a fresh plate of what was it, blood sausage or the pork belly? I forget, but yeah.
You're the proprietor of this establishment seems otherwise occupied aside from the help that I may have given him. I doubt for quite a while he will be concerned about what happens to the dagger, as long as we return it.
Do you have some way of, I don't know, canceling the magic that's on it? We might be able to tell what it really is supposed to look like.
That I do not have. Yeah, I don't have the spell magic. That'd be awesome. No. The best I could do is tell you what it is and that it is magical.
Fair enough.
While you guys are talking, you hear a bit of a tussle occurring in the kitchen. I don't mean a physical tussle, but a verbal assault. Sounds like a youngish male is yelling. Anyone speak Elvish?
Maybe.
Yep. Gears does.
All right. I will send you a Zoom message. Fragile, did you say you speak Elvish as well?
What, little people?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is there a way I can hit both you guys? Oh, so anyway, you hear things about wine going sour and we don't serve poor food and drink and just berating somebody in the back. And you hear a female kind of defending themselves, but not terribly, in a terribly stalwart manner, kind of more trying to point out that it wasn't their fault, but this dude is just reading her the riot act. And then you hear Carrie Willow's voice rise, "Now, Master Lorva, that's enough. You know better than to speak." And you hear some kind of a loud, like maybe a hand on a table or some kind of a crash, and out through the double doors bursts this 6'1", 6'2", rather strapping young half-elven gentleman wearing leather armor, very finely tooled leather armor, comes through behind the bar, pours himself a goblet of wine, raises it, and he looks over at your table and freezes. Sets the goblet down. "What are you doing with my dagger?" And comes around the bar and approaches the table. Very lithe, very fit.
Admiring.
Has a beautiful longsword on his hip.
I move to stand in front of the dagger.
He holds out his hand.
Al's gonna take it back from.
Go ahead.
Al's gonna take it back from Fragile, and kind of assume responsibility. It is my My apologies, my friend. You see, as a master of the arcane arts, occasionally my curiosity just gets the better of me, and after seeing this fine enchanted blade, I simply had to know more about it. We had no intentions of stealing it. The lady here is quite good friends with the proprietor. It was curiosity, nothing more. My sincerest apologies.
He holds up his hand. Silence. And he mutters something and makes a gesture. And I need all of you to make a charisma save for me, please.
Oh no.
Well, that I can do.
18.
18.
Yes.
Nat 20 for 22.
16 for Gears.
Tell me, what are you doing with my blade? And he looks you over very severely, almost looking down his nose at you like you're not worthy to hold such a weapon. And he holds his hand out.
Is he looking at Fragile or is he looking at Al?
He's looking at
Al
the
took the
group.
dagger back from me.
He's looking at the group.
My lord, my lord. Once again, my apologies. My friends and I, we meant no harm. It was just a simple matter of a wizard's curiosity. Uh, you must understand. It is our apologies. And Al's gonna slowly make his way towards him, and kind of look for nonverbal cues from anybody else in the group if this is the right course of action to return it.
Everyone in the place is watching now. Carrie Willow's standing behind the bar, his jaw hanging there, like, and he's just standing there looking at you like maybe there's a timer somewhere running and he's waiting for his blade.
Uh, Al's going to slowly and I guess respectfully hand it back to um, him in his outstretched hands, and once again offer a sincere apology and a moderately deep bow. We're not.
He
we're not
doesn't
going
even
crazy.
acknowledge you. He snatches it from your hand, turns on his heel, walks behind the bar, puts it up in its case, snaps the lid down. Rue, you easily hear the lock re-engage. You're so familiar with such mechanisms. And he turns back and he sneers, "No one touches the blade." Very derisive. Elena comes out of the kitchen, wiping away a tear, and stops when she realizes he's right there behind the bar and stands aside, and he turns and walks through the doors back through the kitchen. And you hear a door slam in the back. And Carrie looks at Elena, and Elena looks at Carrie, and she goes back in the kitchen. And it's quiet, save for the sound of coins dropping on the tables and people leaving. And with that, we're going to take a 5-minute bio break. So we'll be back by 9:20 at the latest. It's just about 9:15. So hang loose. We'll be right back, y'all.
More mystery.
More mystery. Hey, we're back. All bio handled and so forth. Mike had to run his dog out real quick, so he'll be back in a minute. But we're back in the Dagger Reforged. The half elf has said his piece, put the blade back in its case, locked the case, and stormed back in the kitchen. And just a few seconds after he disappeared, you heard the slam of a door. Elena went back in the kitchen, and Carrie's just standing there, kind of aghast. And he comes over to your table. Well, that didn't go over very well, now did it? I do apologize for Master Lorvar's demeanor. I've never seen him. I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what to say.
Do not worry, Carrie. I bear some blame in this. I was overly persuasive and got you in a moment of weakness and got you to help us of your own volition. And those kinds of actions have consequences, and any consequence you may face, I apologize.
He's such a good boy. He's normally just so kind and even-tempered, and like I said, he's been off on his own for the last few days, and I've just never seen him behave. I know that's a special thing to him, but he's had it out before, showing people it and on the bar, but no one's ever taken it out. But still,
it is fine, Carrie. Do not worry yourself. Return to the kitchen, have a drink. I've been around restaurants and kitchens quite often. They get quite ruckus and quite loud. It is nothing to be concerned about.
well, poor Lena really caught Master Lorvar's ire over the foodstuffs and the wine, and it's not her fault, but he wouldn't hear of it. And I apologize for whatever
Hit her?
you may have heard.
Did he strike her?
No, of course not.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Ooh.
Sorry about that.
You guys.
But I do apologize.
I shall go to her and make my apologies as well. It is not my fault you were not strong enough to deny us, but she should not be the one that pays the price. I was even going to slip him like a coin, a gold coin, into his pocket just to kind of be nice to him.
Oh, no, you don't need to. Does anybody know anything? Somebody left a pile of coin behind the bar. I found, what was it? 4 gold and 10 silver in a stack behind the bar. That's very strange. Does anybody know anything about that?
Not I.
You
Seems
you
it's your
deserve
lucky
it.
day.
Well, just what a day this has been. Been several days, honestly. Oh, goodness. Well, what can I get? Anything else I can get for you all?
No, Carrie. We are fine. Go take a moment to yourself and gather yourself. We shall go into the kitchen and make our apologies there.
Oh, I'll fetch young Elena for you to speak with. I'll send her out right away. Just relax here.
Very
And
good. Thank
you are
Carrie.
you are the only patrons left in the Dagger Reforged at the moment.
Yeah, we are.
The ruckus kind of cleared the building. There wasn't a ton of folks. Like I said, there were 2 tables and a small, like 3 folks down at one end of the bar. But Carrie vanishes behind the bar and into the kitchen. And a few moments later, Elena comes out, a little red faced. Yes,
Before Elena
yes.
comes out, I'll say to the others, I'm almost tempted to suggest that we level with Carrie and tell him what we, at least some of what we know about this artifact that Fragili heard about. What would you all think of that? Seems like he could be an asset in our investigation.
Perhaps we should wait for the effects of my suggestion so that we may catch him clear-headed.
Well, sorry about that.
There you go.
Here's my problem. I'm worried that if we get the authorities mixed in this, that we will end up turning whatever this relic is into something that they store away somewhere, and it stays here having an effect, because they told me that it was going to have an effect on the entire region. Like it's affect whatever this is, if it is that dagger or whatever it might be, it's going to affect the entire region. And if all you need is one person who says, no, let's lock it in, we're going to lock it away in a dungeon somewhere, and it's still going to be having some kind of an effect. I'm just worried that if they get it, we aren't going to be able to get it back out. I don't even know where we're supposed to get it back out to, but I know we're supposed to get it out of Faerun. So we got to figure that part out before I feel comfortable telling the authorities, because people with power tend to see things such as a dagger or some kind of, when you say the word relic, as some other way to increase their power again, even more. I've seen that all throughout my life.
Al's going to put his hand on Fragili's shoulder. Yes, I very much understand that. If this falls into the hands of the people least deserving, it is not solving problems for the people. I was going to get up and grab the girl, the serving girl.
Elena?
I apologize for everything that happened earlier. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine. He's just never yelled at me like that. We're good friends, and I've never seen him so distraught, and so, I mean, he spit. Not literally spit on me, but he was spitting as he yelled, and he slammed the table that I prepare food on back there, and I just never, he's beside himself. I've never seen him like that, and it's just upsetting, but I know I didn't do anything wrong, and I hope that he'll come to see that. What if we could, I don't know how the wine went bad right there at the bar, or the food.
He has been gone for several days. Nobody has seen him.
He's been locked in his office for 2 days. That's strange.
And where is his office?
It's in the back off the kitchen. He's in there now. That door you must have heard slam. Yes, so Carrie has given me the night off, so I appreciate you apologizing, but you've done nothing wrong here that I can see. But thank you. And she smiles. And
where does Lorvar live?
Oh, he keeps a house outside of Dagger Falls, to the north, in the woods.
Okay, Carrie. We apologize for the day that you have had. Would you need an escort to your home, or will you get there safely on your own?
Oh, I'm fine.
Virtually chuckles.
Elena smiles. No, thank you. I'm fine. She kind of pulls her cloak back, and you see the hilt of a dagger. I can handle myself. And she smiles very politely. And so, if you don't mind, I'd just like to go home and clear my head.
Yes, of course. Um, I'm going to kind of go back to the group. She says the gentleman who accosted her is in his office behind the kitchen. We could save the dagger from the people, or perhaps we get the chance to get him to give it to us, we'll say willingly.
As you all are talking, the door to the inn opens, and you see a familiar, large, manly man type silhouette in the doorway, and another one behind him as Constable Zal enters with Lord Balver. And they enter quickly, closing the door, and they kind of stop in the middle of them. Look around. They see you. Zal? Where are all the people? What? Why is this place so empty? And he looks around, and for that matter, where's Willow? I need to speak with him immediately.
He's back in the kitchen.
Oh, and good day to you. I do apologize. Just a matter of some delicacy and urgency. I need to speak with him. You say he's in the kitchen. And Bolivar nods and smiles.
Everything all right, Constable?
Well, no, not particularly, but yes, no, it is not, actually. Where have you all been in here all day? Or I should say, since you left the constabulary this morning, I did see you there talking with Balver here. And Balver nods.
Most of the time since then.
Oh, well, and he walks over and kind of looks you over, rather inquisitively, perhaps. Where have you been besides the Dagger Reforged today, if I might ask?
We slept at the Teshford.
No. I mean, since you left the constabulary, my apologies. Yes, and he looks at Al.
I have come straight from the Lord's library where I was after our meeting.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, you're the book fella, aren't you? Yes, nice. It's quite a library.
Yes.
There's a lot of books in it.
It is. And his lordship is very generous to grant me access to it. I appreciate it. Pass along my thanks.
I shall. He's a good man. None of us relate well to him, given his station and ours, but he's always been decent and fair, as his family has been since taking over lordship after the last of the Morns. So at any rate, so you've all been pretty much here since you left the constabulary. Is that correct? He kind of looks over everybody.
Yeah.
Very well. Good. That's good. Not that I, thought any. Okay. Yeah. He kind of
Did something happen?
clears his throat and sends Balver back to the kitchen to fetch Willow. Well, I don't suppose there's any harm in bringing you in on this, given your connection to the Lord now, with your arrangement. And he goes over and he locks the door to the inn and comes back over to the bar, pours himself a flagon, just a half, and sits down. There's been a disturbing discovery at the Temple of the Morning Lord. Most upsetting. And he kind of fidgets a little bit with his holy symbol to Lathander. Seems there was a fight that broke out amongst a couple of the clergy of all things in the Temple of the Morning Lord. I mean, of all places. The Morning Lord is about life and light and peace. And here we have a fight, fisticuffs. And while that's not too terribly a big deal, just strange, but it seems there are some relics missing from the temple. And that's what's really
such as-
really disturbing. Some holy items, some blessed items. And that's quite disturbing. The as you may well guess, the temple is sacred to me, and of course to his radiance, the High Morn Master. And we must get to the bottom of this straight away. And Balver
Sorry,
brings
did he say High Morn Master?
his radiance, the High Morn Master. Yes.
Do we know what that is?
Somebody in the hierarchy of Lathander.
Yeah, if you want to roll religion, Rue.
Because the Lord before Cormero was a Morn, right?
Randall Morn. Randall? Yeah.
Okay. Religion. It's a 14.
14.
14 for Al as well.
Yeah, anyone familiar with, and Lathander is one of the more well-known deities in the pantheon. The high priest of a temple to Lathander is often referred to as his radiance, the High Morn Master, the Morning Lord.
Got it.
So it's probably more a reference to that than a familial connection to Lord Randall Morn and the founding family of Daggerdale.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool title.
Yeah.
His radiance, the High Morn Master. Yeah, pretty cool, right? So Balver brings Willow, who brings a few more tankards and sets them all down. Not sure who needs what. Sets a goblet of wine in front of Fragile. So the lieutenant just told me what was happening over at the temple. You must be beside yourself, Constable. Well, yes, I'm displeased to say the least. The High Morn Master is quite distraught.
There's been some strange things happening here as well.
Oh, do tell.
If we may ask, what was stolen?
Oh, right. Yes, a holy symbol to the Morning Lord that sits on the altar for adoration, worship. You sit in front of it and contemplate the light, the peace, the warmth. It's a beautifully ornate gold. Just a beautiful, and he has to kind of collect himself. This is a man who, this guy's a paladin. He's armed to the teeth, tough as nails. And you literally see him, his breath kind of hitches, and he has to compose himself. So this talisman of the Morning Lord and a ring were taken. And again, there was a very disturbing bit of physical violence between two of the clergy that we can't seem to figure out.
Why were the clergy fighting?
It seemed a petty matter, but by all descriptions, punches were thrown. A man was knocked out, injured. Just very
Nice.
Man, they really got into it.
not
Priest fight. Nice.
very, very much unlike the clergy of Lathander. But wounds
Here's a little
heal,
sunshine for you.
friendships heal. He kind of side-eyes you, doesn't really smile.
I'm laughing, but Rue is not.
He said, Constable, or sorry, Vigili says, Constable, I understand. I'm not trying to make fun of it. It's just it is. Come on, it's kind of funny though the clerics fighting. But I know if somebody messed with my feathers, that I'd be pretty steaming hot about it. So I understand that you are quite upset about the situation. I just wanted to make sure they weren't fighting over like accusing each other of stealing them, were they? They
No,
aren't suspects, are they?
no, they are not. They're not suspects at all. They were. It was a senseless argument, almost a misunderstanding of some sort that just got out of hand.
Well,
Seen a lot
Carrie,
of
that
that.
that sounds much like the fight you described here last night.
Carrie kind
Your
of turns his head
patrons.
and looks at you. You know, you're right, Mister Rue. We've had a few strange disagreements. In fact, Zal, you probably saw the information about the stabbing we had in here, and he kind of chuckles. I mean, a man took after another man with a fork. I hesitate to call it a stabbing, but he made a hole, 2 holes to be precise. And Zal kind of smirks, and I'm sure you had it split up before it could escalate. Well, I certainly came over the bar in a big hurry, and he kind of smirks. You got kind of man zone going on over here, testosterone bubbling, you know. Let me show you my scar, kind of thing. But yes, we ushered the perpetrators out into the street and got the wounded man to the temple for some help there. But it wasn't a grievous injury by any stretch. But again, very strange. This Dagger Falls is a very peaceful, hardy, stubborn, hard-headed, but peaceful. Suspicious even, but peaceful. And so these goings on here are just out of the ordinary, just extremely out of the ordinary. Zal kind of sips his ale. Go ahead.
I'm gonna cast detect magic, real quick without making it a ritual to actually burn a spell slot, just so it's instantaneous.
Okay.
And just did they fetch Willow like out of the back yet, or is he still back there?
Balver went and got him, and they're all at the table with you.
And he's just standing there?
They're all sitting
Like,
at the
they
table.
just snatched him out of the office.
He brought him out of the kitchen, and he sat down with you guys.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm gonna cast detect magic with the spell slot, so it's instantaneous, and just take a look at Willow in particular, and then I guess it's just us, and then yeah, there's no other patrons or anything. It's just everybody involved in this conversation. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, the door's been locked. Yep. Okay, so
Okay.
detect
So,
magic.
Yeah, and then just see if anything's coming off of anybody.
Yeah, Willow's giving you the same things you saw before: bracers and a sword. You see that the paladin Constable Zal. Let me see here. He has a great sword that's glowing enchantment, and he also has an enchanted longbow strapped to his back.
Yeah.
And he's actually in plate.
I'm gonna. Al's just gonna continue to act casual, like he didn't just cast a spell to see what everybody was up to, and then he's gonna. Does Willow's demeanor seem to have changed at all since he kind of stormed through the place and tore it apart? Seemed contrite, calm, or anything?
Willow was not the one that had the hissy fit. That was Lorivar, the actual owner of the Dagger Reforged, the half elf. Yeah, Willow's your bar manager type fellow who used to own the place. Yeah, so the guy that went back there and slammed the door in the office is still back there. To your understanding, anyway.
Yeah, Al's going to wander off from this conversation and kind of make his way through the kitchen if it's going to be unattended, yes?
Yeah, you can go behind the bar. Carrie kind of watches you but doesn't say anything. Zal kind of looks over what you're doing but doesn't, just they let you go. You going to go in the kitchen?
Yeah, all the way through the kitchen with my detect magic up, just to get, I guess, the rest of the layout of the building that we can't see from like the dining room.
Okay. Yeah, so you go through those double doors at the end of the bar, and you enter a food preparation area. There's an oven, for cooking, like a cooking oven. You can cook on top. You can cook inside of it, like a cook stove sort of an arrangement. There's a couple of tables for prepping. There are various knives and bowls and utensils out. There's a couple of closed doors back there. One of them is it's closed but not pulled all the way closed, and then the other one towards the furthest back looks to be closed entirely. I mean, it looks like a
No magical spidey sense.
no, nothing back there at all.
Um. All right. I'm gonna summon my familiar Delphi,
Okay.
the black cat, and just kind of instruct him to scurry around somewhere hidden in the back, and just keep an eye out if any of these doors open, and if they do, to follow whoever.
Okay. I would say actually, you're getting some glow from the furthest back door.
All right. I'm still gonna do all that with Delphi.
Yep.
I'm gonna head back to the table, and just have Delphi keeping an eye on the glowy door.
Okay. Can he?
And I'm gonna
Can
return
you
to the table like
see?
nothing happened.
Can you see your detect magic through him? Like, I know you see what your familiar sees, but I would guess not, because he wouldn't have cast the spell. Only you have the spell up. So
I would have to cast it, and I was like, while touching him, I think is how it works, and then
Okay.
he carries the effect of the spell. But as it is right now, no.
okay, that's fair.
But if I saw it, I just pointed him at the door that I saw it as, and that's all. That's
So
all
he's
I can
gonna
see.
sit and door watch.
And then I'm gonna return to the table like I was just casually going to the restroom or something.
Yeah. Yes. Is everything all right, Master Algernon? Willow asks.
Yes. Just something I ate with this morning just did not agree with me.
Oh, no.
I'm okay now. Thank you.
Not. Oh wait, you didn't eat here though. Where did you eat? What's wrong?
I caught something in these streets. I'm not from here, so some of the local food just it upsets me. It is no concern.
Okay. I was just afraid maybe we were having another incident. And Zal kind of looks at him. An incident? What do you mean, Willow? Oh well, we had some wine go sour after being poured from the cask, and we had some food go bad. Just very strange, very strange.
And what was the cause of this food going bad?
We have no idea. Rue had a plate of perfectly good pork belly go rancid. I mean, he tried some, it was fine, and then it wasn't. I tried it myself, it was horrible, wasn't it, Mr. Rue?
Was indeed.
And Miss Fragile here had a perfectly good glass of wine go practically to vinegar.
Is this the first time that this happened?
By my recollection, I mean, yeah, of course. We don't serve bad food and wine and ale here.
We believe that the owner's dagger may have some properties that may be causing these strange occurrences here. I do not possess the power to know for sure, but
What?
it is between the fight at the temple. Something is causing this, and we believe it may be the dagger.
Zal looks at Willow.
Having,
Go ahead.
it might be worth having a chat with
Loroval, and he kind of looks at Zal knowingly, making sure that he tells us everything he knows.
Zal kind of side eyes Willow, looks at Balver. Balver kind of shrugs. So you mean Willow kind of looks at you. You mean to tell me you think that dag over there has something to do with all this? I mean, that dag has been here for 2 years. I don't understand how all of a sudden that all these things happening would be related to that somehow.
It could be anybody. This is a road by which people travel. At any moment, things could be changed by people who pass through here. Zentarum, perhaps.
Zal kind of fidgets with this holy symbol a little bit. Well, we do take great care to make sure that no scoundrels make their way into Dagger Falls, or they're summarily brought to justice or escorted out beyond view of the town. But so I'm not worried about Zentarum so much. We've certainly had issues with them over the years, but nothing recent. They do come through on occasion guarding caravans or in their own groups, but normally if the Zents are doing something, you're well aware of it because you see them. You know, their sword arms are kind of a in-your-face sort of bunch, I guess, for lack of a better term. But so you think this dagger, and he kind of looks over at the dagger. What would lead you to that conclusion? It's just a knife?
It is definitely more than just a knife. Through some scrying of my own with some of my abilities, I have seen that it is definitely more than just a decoration.
Really?
Of mysterious origins found on the bar. There is something more than perhaps you may even know.
And regardless of whether it's related to the dagger or not, Carrie, you've said yourself that Master Loroval is not acting himself these last few days. Am I right?
Zal kind of looks at not acting himself. And Willow, why, yes, we just had quite a display here not 30 minutes ago. He came out and, well, he discovered they were trifling with the dagger, and he was not happy. But prior to that, he really berated Elena. Miss Elena, our food preparer here. Yeah, she caught the brunt of his ire over the spoiled wine and food. And, we have a certain reputation to uphold here. I understand his dismay, but certainly, and he's been in his office the past 2 days, locked away in there, doing whatever. And Zal's kind of like leaning back.
And that's the part that I find too coincidental for coincidence. That he's been acting weird for 2 days, and it seems that over these 2 days, strange things have been happening.
That does seem odd. I've always known Lorvar to be quite a good young man, a strong moral compass. Thanks to our friend Carrie here, he kind of got off on the wrong foot in life, but old Carrie, and he kind of slaps him on the back, kind of straighten him out. This is most troubling. Well, perhaps we need to speak with Master Lorvar then. Carrie, do you think he'd be opposed to coming out and talking with us? Well, I mean, you are the constable. I suppose you could make him come out by one means or another, but I can tell you he's in no mood to be trifled with. I can assure you that. He about scared me to death just now, yelling at Elena. I had to step in between them.
You guys say Lord, and I don't. What exactly is his status within the hierarchy of the kingdom? Because everybody keeps saying Lord, but all I see is a bar owner.
Oh, Carrie refers to him as Master. I apologize if I've misspoken, but he always calls him Master Lorvar.
thought I heard Lord Lorivar.
That was probably me.
Master Lorvar is a keen adventurer, is a very, very gifted tracker, hunter, swordsman, bowman. But he's most at comfort out in the wilds. And he's made a bit of a name for himself. He's owned this place. He's quieted down for the last 2 years of owning this place, but for about 3 years before that, he was quite the adventurer and sort of the Lord Cormeral's right-hand man, helping with the Most High Mornmaster to defend Dagger Falls and the like. So he's been a pillar of the community since his era of his ways as a young man.
And you say he stopped adventuring a couple years ago?
Yes, yeah, he decided to just settle down, and he goes off here and there now and then. Most of the time, he goes off in search of spices or fineries to sell here in the tavern. The odd cask of ale or two, wine, and he'll travel to secure such things. And I don't know all of his business and what he does while he's gone, but he's not so much an adventurer like yourselves. And Zol, you can see Zol kind of nodding along like, yep, that's right. Yep, sounds about right. Balver's just quietly enjoying his ale.
Al's gonna look at the constable. Are you the constable of this town or not? Why are you debating asking the man questions? Shall we do it for you?
He looks at you and his eyes narrow. No one's debating asking anyone anything. Constable Willow here is merely explaining Master Lorivar's ill will and awful mood lately. But no, I think he should be fetched, and let's have a chat with him. Carrie, will you go retrieve Master Lorivar? Why, certainly, Constable. I'll be more than happy to. He kind of side-eyes Al.
Would you like me to accompany you, Carrie?
I suppose. I don't know what his demeanor will be like when he sees you standing outside his office door, but I suppose it wouldn't hurt. And Willow stands up from the table and kind of brushes off, wipes the foam off his mouth from his ale. Very well then, we'll go fetch Master Lorivar. We'll be right back. And he leads you behind the bar through the double doors into the kitchen. Again, as I described to Al earlier, again, everything's neat and tidy. Elena keeps a very organized kitchen. There's cooking apparel. There is, I'd neglected to mention with your Detect Magic, Al, there's a colander +2 of straining. So an enchanted colander was on the drawing board. Just see what I did there.
Man, Tasha's has everything.
Doesn't it?
Cauldron, a colander. It's like a whole kitchen set.
Colander of straining, yes. And he leads you to the back door. Roll me perception. Just want to see if you notice the Catabalipus sticking out of the pantry.
That's an 18.
Okay. You see as a small feline shadow darts away as you are walking back there. Carrie does not notice it, but you do see a small cat that looks eerily familiar.
Gotcha.
Familiar. Willow
I see
knocks.
what you did there.
Yeah.
As if you found him somewhere.
Yes, as if he were found.
As Willow goes to the door, I'll just kind of slip into the shadows and hide away
Okay.
very nearby, but out of sight.
Okay. Whatever game mechanic you have for that, I don't know if you have a special thing or it's just a stealth, but let's go ahead and make that roll or that. Let's see how successful you are at blending into the cookery.
Yeah, it's an 18.
Okay, yeah.
Stealth.
So you kind of do whatever you do and slide in the back, and Carrie knocks on the door. And then he kind of turns around like people do when they're waiting, and he's like, Mr. Rue. Where did he get to?
I'm here.
Oh, I see. Good idea. Yeah, very well. And he knocks a little louder. What is it? Master Lorva, yes. We'd like to invite you to the tap room. We've closed the inn for the evening, given all the chaos and whatnot. I'm sure you'd. Everybody was gone anyway after all the things, and Carrie seems a little. I wouldn't say nervous. That's too strong a word, but you could tell he's trying to, diplomatically work this. I think it would be really nice maybe you to just come out and talk to your guests. I've made very good acquaintances with this particular party of adventurers who recently chartered themselves here as an adventuring party in Dagger Falls. They don't have a name for the company yet, but they'll get to that. They assure me. But they'd like to meet you and hear a bit of your story and learn a little bit more about the Dagger Reforged. And you hear, sounds of movement from inside the office, and the door kind of yanks open, and he looks. Really, you'd bother me for adventurers? And he kind of severe tone with Carrie. Yes, come with me, Master Lord. I promise it will be worth your while. And he kind of rolls his eyes and grabs an empty wine goblet and walks out behind Carrie Willow, looking around in the kitchen, and they head out to the tap room.
Did he close the door behind him?
He did.
Did he lock it?
You
Obviously.
don't really know. Well, I suppose you'd have seen him fiddling with it. Yeah.
He did?
Yeah. But I would say make perception.
Ooh, my first really bad roll of the night. That's a natural 1 for a 6.
Okay. Yeah, he hesitated by the door. Doing something. You presume he was locking it? Okay. So they exit the
I'm
kitchen.
gonna
Go ahead,
wait
Rick.
for them.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for them to leave, and then I'm gonna try to get into his office.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and try to get into his office. What will you do to do that?
We'll attempt to pick the lock if it seems to be locked. That is a sorry, it's dexterity plus proficiency 22.
Okay. Yeah, so again, you get your picks out and your little tools, and you apply pressure and leverage, and it takes you a little while to fuss with it, but you finally get that familiar click as the last of the bolts and mechanics turn, and the door kind of pops open, swings about a half inch
And
toward you.
before I go in, I will turn and try to catch Delphi's eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Delphi's back
He's
there
been
watching.
Stationed, basically looking.
Yeah, just making
so-
sure that he sees me do it.
Okay.
Do this.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's been staring at the door.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a shelf. A lot of the prep tables have a lower shelf near to the floor where there's larger crockery and such, and he's sitting amongst the crockery, watching intently. So, Al, you can see this, correct? Because you are not over 100 feet separated from your familiar.
Yeah, and as soon as Al sees Delphi see Rue do this, he's going to send Delphi in the room right behind him, behind Rue, and kind of give Fragile and Gears kind of a knowing look about Rue being gone.
You know
Okay.
what? Then I will close the door behind Delphi and try to relock it and just follow them out.
Okay. Fragile and Gears, roll me insight when you see Al looking at you.
Ah, lovely air.
Uh-oh.
Mike just poofed.
Mike.
Come
Yeah.
back, Mike.
16 on the inside.
16? Okay. Yeah, so you definitely get the sense that Al is trying to let you know that Rue is onto something back there.
I don't know what that looks like, but
Whatever that look is.
I'll try to catch up behind them as quickly as possible, so that maybe it's not obvious that I was hanging around.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, so Willow and Lorivar come out, and Lorivar kind of stops and looks and sees Zal and Balver there, and sees Gears, Al, Fragile sitting at the table, and kind of rolls his eyes, ambles out behind Willow after he stops and fills his goblet. So, Constable, to what do I owe the pleasure? Oh, well, we wanted to make you aware of a situation over at the Temple of the Morning Lord. And he begins to explain and retell the story of the fight with the clergy and so forth. Mike looks like he's trying to get his find himself back, so hopefully he'll pop back in. And Lorvar seems kind of unimpressed. And you're telling me this because he really didn't say a lot. Let's retcon back to Delphi, your familiar, Al. So Delphi starts stalking around the office, and it's, there's a desk, a wooden chair. There's a few papers here and there. There's a cabinet. There's kind of like an armoire, a wardrobe that has a couple of cloaks. There's a beautiful, beautiful longbow leaned against the one of the walls. There's a very small box on the desk. The cat, and he, cats, right? Delphi hops up on the desk and starts sniffing and looking around, and you see,
stuff off.
no, very careful. He's a well-trained familiar. He even does the paw thing when he spots a little kind of a little thing he can move with his paw. He kind of with it, and it's that little box. And you notice the box looks like it has, if you manage like a horizontal line, and then kind of a half circle with rays coming out of the half circle on the box. There's a couple of nice daggers on the desk. Just they look like more like letter openers or plain daggers. There's a couple of extra pairs of boots. There's a small harp. Just stuff in the office. But as Delphi makes his way around the office, or her way, I'm not sure which, she stops and looks up to the top of the wardrobe, and it's like that dramatic camera pan upward. And you see the angle of her view kind of turn as she turns her head, and there's this beautiful golden small object standing atop the wardrobe. And again, you see that kind of horizontal and then the half circle with the rays, but this is an ornate gold jeweled item, and it's atop of the wardrobe, so she has to jump up onto a couple of things because it's pushed back a little ways, and there you see it sitting atop the wardrobe.
Hey, Mike. All right. Well, after he's gone through, I don't think I can really get him to do anything. He can't physically open the door. Al's just going to take all this in while, I guess, the conversation's going on with everybody at the table. And after Rue's back at the table, yeah, he sat down with everybody else.
Yeah, I came back out with him.
Okay. Alice is going to kind of give Rue like a quick little look and a nod, and then just go back to listening to everybody's story.
Zal and Willow kind of fill Lorivar in, and he seems annoyed that he's been bothered for this story, which strikes you probably as kind of odd. Here's this pillar of the community, reforged guy who's got his life on, and he's can't be bothered to give a shit about this awful occurrence at the Temple of Lathander and the theft of 2 holy relics, and so forth.
Yeah. Does the constable look like he's actually giving this some mind, or is he just playing this through because he knows he's somebody? There's no way he did this stuff. Blah blah
Right.
blah. Just listen to it out. Hear the adventures, make him happy.
Good question. Why don't you go ahead and roll an insight as you're watching the constable's reaction to Lorivar's kind of flippant, devil-may-care attitude.
Can I roll this also?
Certainly.
I'd be trying to read
Got a
the
9.
whole room, really. That's a 14.
14. Okay. So, Al, you see the constable look at Willow a couple of times as Lorivar kind of makes a couple of comments like, why should I care? I'm trying to run my business. That kind of just seems very disinterested. Rue, you catch Zal and Carrie Willow exchanging knowing looks like, yeah, this is not right. This guy should be much more concerned. So you're getting a look from those two looking at each other like they're not, this doesn't seem right. And Lorivar, after a bit of time, finally stands up. Well, I've drained my goblet, men, and I've heard your tale, and it concerns me not. So if there will be nothing further, I will go back to my work. And he doesn't wait for a response. He turns around and heads back behind the bar, sets the goblet on the bar.
Before he gets too far, Al's going to stand up and arrest that man. There are magical artifacts hidden in the office.
If
I
he
have
says
seen
that, I'm going to go and try to grab the guy.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, let's do this. Let's roll initiative so that we can get some order going.
Yes. Kind
As
of.
soon as Al says that, I am going to do something else before I attack or do anything.
Okay. If you want to hit me in Zoom chat, Mike, and I'll see if there's something that needs to be officiated with that. Rue, I'm going to give you the first action before we get into initiative and rounds because you've decided to do this. He's not expecting it. But let me record initiative. Okay, 25 to 20.
22. When
20.
The wizard kills the initiative roll.
Nice. 20 to 15.
18.
And again, Rue, you're going to act before we dive into initiative. 15 to 10. I got to make a roll for Zal. $10 to 5.
Sorry, I was typing. I have a 16.
Gears, what do you got?
Me, anybody?
17.
Oh, how'd we miss you?
I was muted.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
I have to pay attention to that.
Okay. Rue, what is your action as Lorvar kind of turns, walks away, and heads to the corner of the bar and sets his goblet down? Make your attempt to grab
He's
him.
heading. Uh, where does it seem like he's heading to, other than the bar? Do I know?
I mean, he's going in the direction of going behind the bar and heading back into the kitchen. I mean, you can't read his mind, but that's the direction
Okay.
he's walking.
Yeah. So I would try to. What I'll do is I'll try to get past him and go stand in that kitchen doorway and block it.
Okay. Um,
And draw my swords.
okay, so you're gonna double move and draw your sword, basically, because it's probably gonna take that to
Yeah.
get around him. All of that.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
I mean, it's a little tight behind the bar, but he's gonna be like, "What the?" And you're gonna be by him. And you stop in the doorway and draw your sword.
I will. Yeah, I'll do acrobatics over the bar if that would help.
If you want to, yeah.
I mean, if it helps.
You
If-
can. I mean,
if
with a
you
double
think I
move,
just-
you can cover the ground by dashing, which is a double
Cool,
move.
I'll just do that then.
So yeah, it would be less risky because if you rolled
Yeah.
very poorly on your acrobatics, you could face plant and end up with a tap handle somewhere unfortunate or something like that. I mean, I'd never do such a thing ever, but
Wow.
the dice tell the
Yeah.
tale, my friend. Okay, so you see Rue very deftly, dexterously dash around the surprised half elf, who's like, "Whoa, what?" and draw his blade, and Lorivar stops and laughs. "What do you mean by this? This is my establishment," and we are into initiative. Al.
I'm gonna
as
run
you-
up on him, within 30 feet, cast suggestion, use my other portent, which I'm not as confident about, a 10.
Portents.
If he has a +3 to wisdom, then he saves.
You damn portent people.
Sorry.
You're not that sorry.
Let's see. It goes strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. Right? Yeah. So.
Yeah, if he has a +3
Yeah, he has
to
a +2, so he did not save.
might I suggest you not fight my friend here, that you subject yourself to the law, and that we may search. No, that's it. Do not fight my friend. Submit to the law. Yeah, that'll work.
He whirls around and looks at you, and he's seething mad.
You can be as mad as you want, bro.
Yeah. His other roll, because he has advantage on wisdom saves or things against being charmed,
Oh no.
was a 6. And his face softens. And he looks and considers, and he looks at Rue. I suppose you're right.
I will put my swords away.
He stops, and after you. He says to Al, sorry.
I was just gonna kind of get out of his way, and I guess kind of show him like a place to have the constables or anybody like done. Do they look like they even care? That
Everybody's on their
this man?
feet. Everybody's on their
Okay.
feet. Bulver headed for the door and is at the door, head in that direction. We're all rolling in initiative order here. Zal's basically had time to stand. But yeah, the room kind of jumped into a state of alarm.
And then I'm just going to kind of politely point to a chair for him to sit in, I guess. And now that's Rue, go look in the office. Delphi can show you where things are.
I will turn to look at Zal in deference. Like, are you okay with this?
What? Why are we looking in his office? We have no reason to suspect this man, although he's acting in very much out of character. And he pulls a chair out for Lorivar as he walks over and sits. And Zal sits back down, eyeing Lorivar and looking at Al and looking at Rue. And Carrie's kind of doing the same. You know, they're just, you can smell the perception investigation rolls burning as they're trying to determine what the hell's going on.
It is my belief that if we go into the door, there will be items that would be out of place for a bar owner, and may perhaps have answers to the questions we have been asking since you arrived.
He's kind of speechless. He nods at Rue. All right, have a look.
Thank you, sir.
And he
Go back.
eyes Willow like, you know, that look again, like, I thought you got this kid straightened out.
And I will make my way back to the office.
Okay, yeah, you
I
go
guess
back
I'll
there.
have to repick the lock again.
No, you know how to open it. You have your own version of the key,
Okay.
basically. You've worked it once. So I'm going to say that you know
Cool.
how to open it. Yeah.
All
What
right.
was the entirety of your suggestion, Al?
That he not fight us and submit to the law.
Okay.
Which is technically
Yep, yep.
You may suggest a course of activity.
Yep.
So okay.
Yeah, no, you did fine. The spell ends when the subject finishes what it was asked to do. So if you'd have just merely told him to go sit down, things could be unfolding a little differently, but you've told him to comply and, you know, subject himself to the law. And that's a bit of a process. So he's still doing that. So, Rue, you pick the lock.
Take it.
Yeah. So remind me again what I'm seeing in here.
As soon as he opens the door, Delphi is going to kind of make a point to show him anything that he
Okay.
would have found interesting.
The cat hops up on the desk and starts pawing. You know how cats, you know, kind of skittering a small box across the desk. And then it meows, you know, and hops up onto the. That wasn't a good cat sound. I apologize. What kind of cats do you own, boy?
He's fey, so that
Yeah.
might be it too.
Yeah.
They might sound weird.
Yeah. And as soon as he hops up on top of the wardrobe, you almost gasp at the absolute breathtaking beauty, artisanship of the craftsmanship of this beautiful. It kind of equates to, if you're familiar at all with the Catholic faith, a monstrance that's used to hold the consecrated host for people to sit and just be in the presence of their deity, so to speak. And that's what this is. It's a display holy symbol of Lathander. You recognize it right away. You know, it's one of the most recognizable holy symbols. The little
And
box has.
How big is the thing that's up?
Oh,
up?
you can pick it up in one hand.
Okay.
You know, it's
yeah.
probably 5-6 inches tall, but it's got some beautiful diamonds in it that go out along the rays of the sun. You know, it catches any light. It's like incredible.
Yeah, I'll take that, and then I will open the box that the cat indicated to see what's in it.
There's a beautiful golden ring, and it's kind of like a signet ring. It has the holy symbol of Lathander on the flat face. A beautiful golden ring.
All right. Anything else that seems interesting to me in the office here? Any papers.
There's like a strong box on the floor. There's, you know, all manner of various papers. Very neat, organized. There's not a lot of stuff out. And all the things I described before. There's a few cloaks hanging in In the wardrobe, there's a couple pair of boots. There's a beautifully crafted longbow leaned against the kind of the wall in the wardrobe in that corner. But there's nothing in there that seems strangely out of order or out of place.
I'll take a quick glance at the papers just to ascertain sort of what they are.
Sure. They are bills of lading describing ale from Mistledale, wine from Flan, things like that. Things that you would expect.
Got it. Okay. Do I get into the strong box?
You are
I
a
assume
rogue
it's
after all.
locked. I am.
Can't hurt to look.
Yeah, I'll set the things down and see if I can pick the lock on the strong box.
Attaboy.
Oh,
Do rogue stuff.
That is a 19.
Did you check for traps first? Oh, wait, you didn't, did you?
No, I did not.
Yeah, with a 19, you're able to, again, very dexterously pop the lock that secures the strongbox.
All right. I will pop it open and see what's in there.
It's the size of like an ammo case. I guess, what is that, 50 cal, Mike, that comes in those metal boxes?
Just depends on what you're doing.
Okay, but like one of those ammo cases that has the latches on the ends, and and in it you find a bunch of gold coin,
7.56.
a few platinum, quite a bit of copper and silver. You would presume probably funds for operating the business, whether it's revenue or change or whatever. Again, not an unexpected find.
So it's just the money?
Yep.
Okay. I will close it back up and lock it up. And leave the money in it.
Okay.
And then I will pick up the 2 Lathander items and head back out.
Okay. So you make your way back out into the kitchen, and everybody at the table, Zal stands when he sees what you have in your hands. Boy, be careful with that. Bring that here at once. Lorivar, what is the meaning of this? And Lorivar just sits there very plainly. I wanted them. Carrie's jaw is just...
Al's very proud of himself. Shoots kind of a snide look at the constable.
Rue is not. He turns to Zal. There's magic at play here, sir. I myself was affected by something earlier that caused me to do something against my nature. So do not assume that this was a choice that he made. That something magical likely caused this.
Lorivar looks at you. Oh, I wanted them.
I'm sure you did.
I mean, look at them. Think how much those might fetch at certain markets, certain individuals. And Zal is like, seething. Like he has changed colors. He is so angry. Balver, manacle this man. And Willow stands up and he's like equally as purple. He's just fuming and confused. And Lorivar stands up and holds his wrists out like this isn't his first rodeo being manacled. He holds them up, like you do. And Balver comes over and manacles his wrists. Al, your spell seems to be working quite well. I mean, you worded that so beautifully. Submit to the law. You're not.
You know, a lot of time to figure out how to phrase wish spells.
You're not.
It's basically wish light.
You're not endearing the wizard subclass of diviner any closer to your DM than you had previously. You're.
I know, buddy. I told you. I told you I was not going to be pleasant about it.
Yeah. So
how can I break somebody else's game?
Willow just looks at
I'm sorry, buddy.
Zal and looks back at Rue. There has to be some explanation for this. This boy is a fine character. Why on earth? I feel I has to take some responsibility for this, Constable. You know, I've spoken on this boy's behalf and for years. And Zal he's like fit to be tied. Fetch a towel from behind the bar and wrap those relics and bring them to me, please. He remains calm, but he's just shaken. That
I will do so. Was he talking to me?
Yeah. Or whoever, just anybody.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I will do so before anyone else makes a move too. And I will be very careful with them.
I hope the temple finds it in their charitable nature to reward the return of these important relics.
Zal kind of looks over at you. I cannot speak on behalf of the temple of the High Morn Lord. Is that what it is? Morn Master. But I assure you,
Morn Master,
we are relieved and pleased, and some gratitude will find you.
Very well.
He looks at Lorivar.
Go ahead,
Go ahead. Sorry.
You're gonna be able to get him all the way to jail without beating him down a little bit, there, Constable.
I can assure you, he looks over at you rather severely, that I follow the law precisely as it was intended and written, and it is clear. He will be detained and pending further investigation about this dagger boy. And he looks at Lorivar. Al, roll me perception. Zal makes his way over to the bar, goes behind it, goes to the back bar.
Lucky 13.
Lucky 13. You notice as Zal reaches for the box with the dagger in it, sets it on the bar, Lorivar tries immediately to get free and starts cursing Zal in Elven, frothing, not literally frothing, but sputtering and spitting, trying. And Balver is doing all he can to hold him in place. Thankfully, he's been manacled. He's not even been disarmed as Zal goes for the dagger. And Zal looks over at him very curiously and draws his greatsword. And with the pommel of the greatsword, just brings it down on the box. Crushes the box, shatters the glass. And Willow's like, Constable, we had a key for that, kind of look on his face. And the constable draws the dagger from the broken, beautifully crafted by Willow case, the display case, and holds up the dagger. If this is at the root of our troubles, then the Lord Cormeril and his Radiance, the High Morn Master, should be brought into this investigation. We will keep the dagger in the Temple of Lathander for safekeeping. Does anyone have then he kind of stops himself. No, we will keep the dagger in the Temple of Lathander. In fact, we're going to keep Lorivar in the Temple of Lathander. And that is where we will end our session this evening.
Sorry for Daly. My bad.
Oh, why?
Because you wanted to keep it away from them. Now the authorities got involved. We got a little something, but we failed at what we were supposed to do. So my bad. Sorry.
Fragili's
I
not
would-
worried. Fragili's pretty sure it's not what we need.
Yeah. I agree.
So
Okay. Man,
That was a session.
that was an interesting session. Nice. Let's go around the horn. Gears. Tell us a little bit about like who you are, where we can find you, why you're awesome. I mean, we know why you're awesome, but tell us about poutine, my friend.
We don't have all night for him to tell the complete answer to that story.
That's fair.
Poutine is a very delicious
Oh man.
byproduct of French fries, gravy, and cheese curds.
Yes.
yeah,
Not
I
fresh
love
cheese.
poutine.
Not cheese, cheese curds.
Cheese curd.
Big difference.
Very, very important distinction.
Yes.
Hot gravy, melted cheese curds, nice fries. You've got a perfect meal. There's a restaurant up here that serves smoked meat poutine. Actually, there's
Oh,
several. You folks call it pastrami down there in the States, as I was once corrected by a gentleman in a deli in Washington D.C. when I was there one time. Pastrami, I think he said it was, and it was just as good.
Nice.
It is quite a good combination, but it's something you may only want to have once every year or so because you'll die of cholesterol.
It may kill you.
otherwise.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dave. Hey Wilson on the internets. When I'm not here twice a week now, because I'm also playing on Wednesdays. Come join us at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays for Dragon of Icefire Peak. I'm playing here, playing Gears, the Warforged fighter, and having a great time, being very quiet and watching the casters do their work.
Watching the casters. Nice. All right, very good. And Dave is from Canada, eh? So there you go. Or he lives there. All right, Al.
Yeah, eh?
Eh?
Hi, I'm Manny. At Growed Up Geek on the social media. When I'm not here on Monday nights, slowly driving my Dungeon Master insane. I am getting ready for I'm going to be doing 2 streams as a Dungeon Master now, starting in January. My own Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign and a recently hatched Greyhawk campaign that will be seen on this channel on Sunday afternoons come January. So I am very, very excited.
Yes, and just remember, if you trifle with my character on Sunday,
Yeah, buddy.
I'll hammer you on
You're
Monday.
gonna make a divination wizard just for the get back.
Right,
I
there
didn't
you go.
want to play this character. I just wanted to torment you.
He's
Here's
great.
your 3. Have
I
fun.
love it. Those portent rolls are so nice for saving throws. That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. Rue got some inspiration earlier for the situation that unfolded in the tavern. I'd like to throw one at Al for his clever use of the suggestion spell this evening. So well done. Fragile!
Yeah, I am Fragile Jam Cassie in the game. On social media, I'm Buckethead Clunk. I don't have a huge social media footprint yet, but I'm starting to get there. I'm really digging being live on here with these cool people that you get to meet when you get outside of your little circle in your hometown. And then back here, I am the DM for our Cormier / transitioning into a little bit of Spelljammers. And for anybody who knows Raymond Feist, we are going to kind of work into his world for part of our adventure, which worked for me because some of my players seem to know every single thing about Faerun, so I had to take them somewhere where they didn't know anything. So I'm looking forward to stumping them.
Nice. Very good. And last but not least, Rue.
Me. Hey everyone, I'm Andrew, aka Fellowship at the Tables. Don't really do a whole lot of stream stuff other than this, but currently working on a big project for 2021. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Wheels are turning, gears are turning, all kind of stuff's happening. Very exciting around here. Yeah, so keep your eyes peeled on our little community, our Discord, our channel here for announcements and things. As Al alluded to, we're going to be the current Greyhawk game is moving over to the DM's channel. Wu Tang Piglet is getting into the streaming game, and since he's the DM of that game, he's going to move that to his channel, and it's going to be super cool. I think the name of his channel is Greyhawk Tales, just like the name of the game. So we'll throw out a bunch of promotion and support for my friend Wu and get him up and running in proper fashion. And so that's where that new Greyhawk game will take over the old slot. So that's what's up with that. I'm Scott, Wiley Hobbit. We play D&D here on Mondays, of course, at 7:30. Wednesdays at 7, we play D&D 5e Dragon Vice Spire Peak, which includes Gears and some other fine folks. And then we play our Sunday game is, well, just like I just said, is going to be vacating the channel. So like to throw a kind thought to Calavera and Ronvin, both a little under the weather this evening, so hopefully they get on the mend and back in the saddle and on the next session. So thank you for hanging out. I'm going to start a raid. We're going to go over to Prater's Rejects. He's a friend of mine from the Greyhawk community, and I think he's actually arting this evening, arting and crafting and such things. So go give them a holler, and thanks for hanging out tonight, and we'll see you very, very soon.